Picture yourself on a small boat with a little Evinrude outboard motor as your sole friend, the Atlantic Ocean stretching out in front of you in all directions, waves smashing like mountains, and winds howling like a beast. Doesn't it seem impossible? But some adventurers have tried just that. A risky voyage across the Atlantic, fighting the elements with just a small speedboat. Today, in this video, we explore the most demanding seafaring expeditions ever made. Get ready for a tale of bravery, tenacity, and pure insanity. Establishing the scene. It's no easy task to cross the Atlantic. Explorers have been attempting to navigate its erratic sea for ages, overcoming remoteness, huge waves, and storms. However, the thought of completing the feat in a tiny ship with only one Evinrude engine renders it nearly impossible. Typically, people use these engines for short leisure excursions, not for long-distance ocean travel. However, tenacious, inquisitive, or adrenaline-fueled explorers have risked everything to attempt this feat despite thorough preparation. One cannot completely subdue the fury of the Atlantic. They map paths, store supplies, and reinforce their boats. Each mile is an exercise of mechanical endurance, mental toughness, and physical strength. Every minute is a struggle for survival for those who chose this route, since the water is a merciless enemy. Getting ready for the unthinkable. A careful balance between necessities and constraints must be struck while preparing for such travel. Due to the severe lack of room, food, water, navigational aids, and safety equipment must be carefully rationed. For survival, a lot of intrepid travelers depend on solar panels, portable water desalination devices, and emergency beacons. Despite its tiny size, the Evinrude engine needs ongoing maintenance, where overheating or a total failure in the middle of the ocean might result with each hour of operation. Mental readiness is also important. It's typical to spend months training, honing survival skills, and acting out emergency scenarios. Even experienced seafarers acknowledge that the Atlantic can strain even the most resilient souls, particularly when days pass with no view of land. Although the mood of the ocean may change in a matter of minutes, converting calm seas into a nightmare, adventure seekers also keep a close eye on meteorological patterns in an attempt to forecast storms. The adventure starts. After everything is ready, the trip officially starts. The skipper of the little Evinrude-powered ship is filled with both exhilaration and fear as it departs the beach. The horizon spreads invitingly, the engine hummed quietly, and the waves seem bearable at first. However, the enormity of the Atlantic quickly becomes evident. The little boat bobs like a cork in a storm as the winds become stronger and the waves get larger. Periodically, sleep is disrupted by engine checks or maneuvering the ship to avoid erratic waves. Meals are practical, fast, and often cold. Only satellite phones or shortwave radios may be used to communicate with the outside world, and even then, the transmissions are erratic and brittle. Every sound, the roar of the wind, the crash of the waves, feels magnified in the nothingness as isolation gnaws at the psyche. At night, everything is completely black. There are no lights, no landmarks, and no way to get away from the unrelenting movement of the water. It's a constant battle to keep the engine running, remain on track, and keep spirits up. Nature versus the engine. The main cause of fear on this trip is the Evinrude engine, which is also its lifeblood. This little engine isn't designed to run continuously in harsh environments as big ocean crossing ships are. Mechanical failures may transform a life or death scenario from controllable to disastrous. Salt water can corrode metal components, and waves can flood the engine compartment. For ongoing maintenance, like replacing spark plugs, lubricating moving components, and fixing anywhere that shows up mid-ocean, many travelers have extra parts and equipment on hand. The speed of the trip is often determined by the engine's performance. When it functions flawlessly, it propels the boat ahead steadily. When it malfunctions, the boat floats aimlessly, leaving the captain vulnerable to the waves. Fatigue is further exacerbated by the mental strain of thinking about the engine. Every strange noise or vibration triggers panic, as a single mistake could spell the end of the trip. Nevertheless, some intrepid travelers manage to push their engines forward, day after day, inch by inch, against all obstacles, demonstrating an incredible combination of talent, perseverance, and sheer willpower. Dealing with the storms. The ultimate test for a boat and a sailor is a storm. Towering waves, hurricane-force gusts, and abrupt squalls are all common in the Atlantic. A single storm might be a nightmare for someone on a small boat powered by an Evinrude. The horizon vanishes in a wall of gray, water rushes over the deck, and the ship tosses violently. It takes regular effort to stay balanced and on track, while also shielding vital equipment from damage or water. Fatigue immediately sets in, and sleep becomes almost difficult. Using wave patterns wisely, riding the waves instead of battling them, and taking all necessary precautions to avoid capsizing are frequently essential to survival. Mental toughness becomes just as important as physical ability. Many travelers tell of terrifying times when the storm appears to go on forever, and it seems hard to keep on. However, the voyage is also defined by weathering the toughest situations. Storm survivors have a feeling of success that few people can match, as well as a greater respect for the ocean and its unadulterated force. Psychological difficulties and isolation. Beyond physical difficulties, solitude is a persistent, silent enemy. Even the most experienced sailors may be impacted by weeks without human interaction. Voices from the wind, horizon mirages, and incessant introspection are some of the tricks the mind starts to perform. Adventurers often talk about experiencing worry, hopelessness, and times of doubt. Different people have different coping mechanisms. Some keep notebooks in which they document every thought and incident, while others utilize music or meditation to keep their mind stable. The difference between completing the road and giving up on hope may be determined by psychological resilience. Every choice you make in a small ship, such as whether to rest, how to ration food, and when to modify the engine, has a significant impact. A little error may escalate into a significant issue. Isolation survival requires ongoing self-awareness, emotional restraint, and a resolute dedication to the objective, demonstrating that crossing the Atlantic is a mental struggle as much as a physical one. Getting to the other end, after struggling with wind, waves, and isolation for days or even weeks, land finally emerges on the horizon. It is impossible to describe the feeling of relief. Every mile that is made seems like a victory, not only over the Atlantic, but also against fatigue, uncertainty, and dread. Despite its wear and tear, the Evinrude engine has shown its value. Despite being psychologically and physically exhausted, the explorer feels a tremendous feeling of achievement. More than just a trek, traveling across the Atlantic on a tiny boat is an example of human tenacity, bravery, and resourcefulness. By demonstrating that even the most difficult challenges can be conquered with preparation, perseverance, and unwavering resolve, these fearless adventurers encourage us to push our own boundaries. In conclusion, few people dare to try crossing the Atlantic in a boat propelled by an Evinrude, but those that do so leave a legacy of exceptional bravery. It tells a tale of overcoming the worst fears of the mind, mechanical constraints, and nature. It serves as a reminder that even the most difficult obstacles may be conquered by the human spirit. If you enjoyed this story of bold adventure, please press the like button, subscribe for more amazing tales, and leave a comment. Would you consider trying such a journey? Tell us. Think of the explorers that ventured across the enormous ocean, one little engine at a time, the next time you see it.